In this game, Mikhail makes 4 brilliant sacrifices. Tal is known for being a very attacking and sacrificial player, and in this game he clearly shows that. With the white pieces, Tal opens up with e4, and his opponent responds with c6, and we go into a Caro-Kann defense, knight d2, which is main line, and then his opponent plays knight d7, which is the Karpov variation. These are all book moves, and then we have knight to g5, and here is where the first brilliant move comes. Like, it's already been 6 moves, and we've already had a brilliant sacrifice. Knight e6. You cannot take, because then bishop to g6 would be mate in 1. It's actually a very common idea to move the knight here. There's a couple traps like this where you would weaken the king, and then there would be a bishop that could you'd weaken the light squares around the king, and there would be like a queen or a bishop that would deliver checkmate. So his opponent goes queen a5 check, and now you have to respond in a forcing way, because if you don't and you go here, then you're going to lose your knight. So you have to respond with the bishop attacking the queen. The queen moves back, and we have our next sacrifice by Tal, knight f3. It's not really a sacrifice. You cannot actually take, because again, you'd be weakening the king, and there would be this diagonal. You can always castle. It's really tough. Even though his black is up a piece, computer thinks that white is slightly better. So that didn't happen in the game. Or actually it did. I shouldn't have shut that line. My bad. Okay. King d8 and then castles. Okay. c5, c4, just striking at the center. c4, and Tal doesn't even care about this. He's like, you can take it. And then we have the next brilliant sacrifice, knight d4. And this one is actually really nice, because you cannot take the knight, obviously, because of bishop a5, and it's double check, or it's check, but it's discovered check. So we'd win the queen. So his opponent plays e5, and then we counterattack with c5, danger levels. And then we have knight c5. This just gambits another pawn, but if you cannot take it like this, because knight e6 looks like a fork, but it's also mate in 1, because this knight covers this and this bishop covers the entire diagonal. That's why this bishop is very important, as we saw, why taking the e-pawn was very dangerous, because it opened up the king, and it definitely did serve. So we have knight c5, and the problem with knight c5 is that we have open lines on the king, and Tal plays the brilliant bishop a5. If you take this, then, for example, again, this is checkmate in 1, knight e6. It's actually a really nice checkmate, because it's not very obvious. It's double check, discovered check on the king, so you can't actually take this knight, and the king would have to move, but the king entire file here can't move, and the knight covers this square, and the bishop covers this entire diagonal. As you can see, I'll just draw. So the king is not completely boxed, and since it's double check, it's mate. So you can't take the bishop, and so his opponent took the knight, and then we don't even take the queen, because clearly taking this pawn is much better because it's check. So knight goes back, and then here we take the queen, and then the rook moves to the c file, controlling more squares, this open c file. We have e5, queen c4. We have some queen c7 threats. So bishop c5, blocking the entire c file. Rook d1, rook f8, b4, king out the bishop, bishop to d4, and now we have our final sacrifice, rook d4. And here black resigned, but the point is, it's actually mate in 4 after taking the rook, queen c7, rook e1, and it's just mate. After queen d6 and king g5, you can try find the checkmate. It's a pawn checkmate, h4 checkmate. So as you can see, Tal was a very attacking player, and I really hope you enjoyed this video. Thanks for watching.